There's a town in Nevada where gold sits in the walls of abandoned buildings and no one's allowed to take it. If you've ever wanted to escape the tourist crowds and discover places that feel frozen in time, this journey is for you. Nevada isn't just Las Vegas and Reno. It isn't just casinos and neon lights. Beneath that surface lies something most travelers never see. A landscape haunted by ambition, scarred by hope, and littered with the bones of dreams. Scattered across its deserts are over 600 ghost towns. Most of them completely unknown to tourists. Places where the wind tells stories, where buildings lean into eternity, where you can still feel the ghosts of ambition and heartbreak walking the empty streets. Today we're revealing 10 hidden villages that even most Nevadans don't know exist. From forbidden military zones to towns that died in weeks to one place that refuses to stay dead. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, subscribe below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Number 10, Rhyolite. 50,000 beer bottles cemented together, shimmering in the brutal desert heat. Walls made entirely of glass catching the sunlight like a strange cathedral. This isn't some modern art installation. This is someone's home from 1906. Rhyolite exploded into existence in 1904 when prospectors struck gold in the surrounding Bullfrog Hills. Within months, the population hit 5,000 people. Banks opened. 3 railroads serviced the town. An opera house was built. There were electric lights, concrete sidewalks, a stock exchange, newspapers, even an ice cream parlor. People thought Rhyolite would rival San Francisco. But here's the thing about boom towns in the desert. Everything was expensive. Wood had to be shipped across hundreds of miles of nothing. So a miner named Tom Kelly looked around at all the empty bottles littering the streets after payday and he had an idea. 50,000 bottles. Mostly Busch and Anheuser-Busch. He cemented them together with adobe mud. Built an entire house. 3 rooms. Thick walls that kept the desert heat out during the day and the cold out at night. And it still stands today. Over 115 years later. You can visit for free. No tickets, no gates. Just drive up. Walk right up to it. Touch those century-old bottles. The best time to photograph it? Golden hour. That's when the desert sun hits those bottles at the perfect angle and the whole structure seems to catch fire with amber and green light. But Rhyolite died almost as fast as it was born. By 1908, just 4 years after the boom started, the mine production was already declining. By 1910, the electric power was cut. By 1916, the last resident finally left. The old Jonas, Cook and Company. Bank tells you exactly why. The vault is empty. The windows are broken. The gold ran out. Simple as that. 5,000 people came here chasing wealth. And when the wealth disappeared, so did they. Leaving only glass and stone and silence. Number 9, Jarbidge. America's most isolated town. The most remote community in the lower 48 states. And it once witnessed the last stagecoach robbery in U.S. history. December 5, 1916. The middle of winter. A mail stage was making its way through Jarbidge Canyon, carrying payroll and gold coins. About $3,000 worth, equivalent to over $80,000 today. The driver was a man named Fred Searcy, 63 years old. He'd been driving that route for years. Knew every turn, every dangerous patch of ice. He never made it to town that night. They found him the next morning. Bloodstains in the snow. His skull crushed. The strongbox forced open with a bloody axe. The gold gone. A man named Ben Cole was eventually convicted of the murder, though he maintained his innocence until his death. The gold was never fully recovered. That robbery made headlines across the country. The New York Times covered it. It was called the last stagecoach robbery in America, the final violent gasp of the Wild West era. But here's what they don't tell you in history books. Jarbidge is still here. Population fluctuates between 5 and 20 depending on the season. In summer, a few more people show up. In winter, it drops to maybe a handful of diehards who refuse to leave even when the snow gets chest deep. It's still one of the most remote places in the continental United States. 50 miles from the nearest paved road. The last 20 miles is rough dirt, washboard that'll rattle your teeth loose if you go too fast. No cell service. No internet. No gas stations for 50+ miles. Winters are brutal. The town gets completely cut off when snow blocks the pass. Sometimes for months. If you're there until spring. But if you make it here in summer or fall, you'll understand why people stay. The Jarbidge River runs cold and clear, cutting through granite walls that tower hundreds of feet above. The canyon is so deep that direct sunlight only hits the town for a few hours each day. Buildings cling to the hillside at impossible angles. There's a tiny store that's only open a few days a week. A saloon where locals gather. Cabins with solar panels and wood stoves, modern survival mixed with Old West isolation. The people here follow one unspoken rule: take care of each other. Because when you're this isolated, you have to. A broken down truck isn't just an inconvenience, it could be life or death. If you visit, bring a satellite phone. Seriously, a GPS device. Way more water than you think you need. Tell someone where you're going and when you'll be back. And only attempt the drive between June and October. Outside those months, you're risking your life. The locals here don't just live with isolation, they choose it. They want to be this far from everything. Number 8, Berlin. Here's something that'll blow your mind. You're standing on an ancient ocean. 225 million years ago, this desert didn't exist. Nevada was underwater. A warm, shallow sea stretched for hundreds of miles. And creatures the size of school buses swam here. Ichthyosaurs. Marine reptiles that looked like a cross between a dolphin and a lizard. Some of them grew over 50 feet long. Berlin sits inside Berlin Ichthyosaur State Park, home to the largest concentration of ichthyosaur fossils in North America. Scientists have found over 40 individuals here, many of them perfectly preserved. Park rangers give tours of the fossil shelter. You can see them right there in the rock face. Massive vertebrae the size of dinner plates. Ribs. Skulls with eye sockets you could fit your fist into. You're looking at something that died 225 million years ago. Before dinosaurs walked the earth. Before birds existed. Before mammals. But the miners who built this town in the 1890s? They didn't care about ancient reptiles. They cared about gold and silver. Berlin was established in 1897 when the Nevada Company started developing silver claims in the area. Within a few years, a small community grew, about 250 people at peak. This is the Diana engine. A 30-stamp steam-powered mill built in 1898. It weighs several tons. It processed over $849,000 worth of ore before the mines gave out. That's over $30 million in today's money. Look at the engineering. The massive flywheel. The stamp batteries that crushed her into powder. The drive belts and gears. It still stands. Silent now. But you can imagine the noise it must have made. The constant hammering, the hiss of steam, the shouting of workers over the mechanical thunder. Berlin is remarkably well preserved. There's the assay office where her samples were tested. The machine shop where tools were repaired. Even some of the miners' cabins still stand. There's something profound about this place. Dinosaurs died here 225 million years ago. Their bones turned to stone. Miners hoped here 125 years ago. Built machines. Dreamed of wealth. And now nothing. Just wind and time and the long, slow work of geology. You can camp here in the state park. And let me tell you, the night sky is unreal. Zero light pollution. You'll see the Milky Way so clearly it looks three-dimensional. Satellites drifting across. Meteor streaks. It's one of those places where you feel the weight of deep time. Where human history seems like a blink. Number 7, Delamar. They called this the Widowmaker. Because the gold here was slowly killing everyone. Delamar was founded in 1892 when gold was discovered in the hills of eastern Nevada. Within a few years, it grew to over 1,500 residents. There were saloons, stores, a post office, a school. The mines were incredibly productive, some of the richest gold deposits in the state. But there was a problem. The rock here has extremely high silica content. And the miners used dry drilling techniques, hammering into solid rock without water to suppress the dust. They breathed silica particles all day. Every day. It destroyed their lungs. The medical term is silicosis, scarring of lung tissue from inhaled silica. Once it starts, there's no cure. Your lungs slowly stop working. You suffocate. Slowly. In the early 1900s, dozens of men died from it. Many of them young, in their 20s and 30s. Miners would start coughing blood. Struggle to breathe. Waste away. There's a cemetery not far from here. Wind-scoured graves with simple markers. One reads, Joseph McDonald, age 28. Victim of the dust. 28 years old. There are dozens more like his. Young men who came west to make their fortune. Who ended up buried in the desert they'd hoped would save them. The situation got so bad that newspapers across Nevada started reporting on it. They called Delamar the Widowmaker because so many miners died young, leaving widows and orphans. Eventually, mining companies were pressured to switch to wet drilling. But by then the damage was done. Delamar was actually physically moved twice, relocated as mining operations expanded and new deposits were found. You can find ruins at multiple sites a few miles apart. But eventually, even the gold wasn't worth the human cost. By the 1930s, Delamar was abandoned. Today, stone walls stand scattered across the hills. Foundations outline where buildings once stood. Mining equipment rusts slowly in the dry desert air. If you want to visit, know what you're getting into. You'll need a high-clearance 4WD vehicle, preferably with all-terrain tires. The roads are rough, rocky, and remote. Bring way more water than you think you need. A gallon per person per day minimum. GPS satellite communication. Tell someone where you're going. This is serious backcountry. Delamar isn't just abandoned. It's a memorial. A reminder that every boom had a human price. That fortunes were built on broken bodies. The gold is still here actually. In the tailings piles. In the old shafts. But nobody wants it anymore. Some prices are too high. Number 6. Metropolis. Imagine building a town in the middle of nowhere, then realizing you forgot the most important thing. Water. In 1910, land developers had a grand vision. They called themselves the Pacific Reclamation Company. And they had big plans. They'd build a farming community in the high desert of northern Nevada. Irrigated fields fed by canals from the Oahe River. Wheat, alfalfa, orchards. A thriving agricultural paradise. They printed advertisements in newspapers across the country. Metropolis, the city of opportunity. Rich soil, abundant water, modern infrastructure. And people believed them. Hundreds of families bought parcels. They sold everything they had back east. Loaded their possessions into wagons or onto trains. Traveled west with hope burning in their chests. With children. With dreams. With everything they owned. They even built a brick schoolhouse. 2 stories. Beautiful craftsmanship. Built to last. The canal system never worked properly. The engineers had miscalculated. The elevation drop wasn't sufficient. The soil was too porous, water just sank into the ground. The canals leaked. The irrigation ditches dried up. You can still see traces of those canals if you know where to look. Faint lines in the desert where nothing grows. Crops failed that first summer. Wells dug by optimistic farmers came up dry or brackish. Animals died from dehydration. By the second summer, people were leaving. By 1912, just 2 years after the town was founded, Metropolis was abandoned. 2 years. This schoolhouse is almost all that's left. Standing alone in the sagebrush, surrounded by miles of empty desert, mountains framing the horizon. You can still see the blackboard mounts on the walls. Imagine children sitting here, learning their ABCs, unaware that their parents' dreams were already dying. Metropolis is a monument to optimism meeting reality, to dreams that turn to dust, to the gap between advertising promises and ground truth. You can see the schoolhouse from dirt roads in the area. It's on BLM land, so it's accessible. But respect private ranch property. Some of these old structures are still used by local ranchers for equipment storage. Don't take artifacts. Don't vandalize. These ruins belong to everyone. Number 5, Tuscarora. This town died 3 times. And somehow it's still alive. Founded in 1867 during a silver rush. Population boomed to over 3,000. Chinese immigrants built a thriving Chinatown section. There were hotels, saloons, newspapers, even an opera house. Then the silver ran out. Population crashed. First death. Gold was discovered nearby in the 1880s. The town came back to life. New businesses opened. People returned. Then that gold ran out. Population collapsed again. Second death. A few diehards hung on. Small mining operations. Ranchers. But by the 1940s and 50s, Tuscarora was basically finished. Third death. Then in the 1960s, something unexpected happened. An artist named Dennis Parks drove through Tuscarora, and he saw something everyone else had missed. Space. Silence. Beauty. Buildings that could be saved. A community that could be reimagined. He bought an old building, converted it into a pottery studio, started making ceramic art in the middle of nowhere. Other artists heard about it. They came to visit. Some of them stayed. Potters, painters, writers, sculptors. People looking for space to create. People tired of cities and noise and the constant demands of modern life. They bought more buildings, fixed roofs, installed wood stoves and solar panels, started small gardens in spots where water could be coaxed from the ground. Today about 10 to 15 people live here year-round. More in summer when the weather's nice. It's not a ghost town. It's not a tourist attraction. It's a living, working community. The old schoolhouse? That's Tuscarora pottery now. You can visit. Watch artists throwing pots on wheels. See beautiful ceramics being glazed and fired. There's something mesmerizing about watching someone work with clay. The steady rhythm. The focus. Creation happening in real time. They sell pieces too. Handmade pottery. Bowls, mugs, vases, sculptures. Each one unique. If you visit, you can take home something made in one of Nevada's most remote places. And if you're lucky enough to be here during one of their annual art events, usually in summer, you'll find the whole community comes alive. Art shows, music, meals shared between neighbors and visitors. Tuscarora proves something important. Ghost towns don't have to stay dead. Communities can be reimagined. Places can have multiple lives. There's something beautiful about people who choose difficult places, who see possibility where others see only abandonment. This town refused to disappear. It reinvented itself. And it's still here, quiet, creative, and absolutely alive. Number 4, Taibo. You need special government permission to visit this town, and most people are denied. Taibo sits deep inside the Nevada Test and Training Range, what used to be called the Nevada Test Site. The place where the United States conducted over 900 nuclear weapons tests. Between 1951 and 1992, the ground here shook with nuclear explosions. Above ground until the Test Ban Treaty, then underground. But Taibo is older than all of that. Much older. It was a silver mining town established in the 1870s. At its peak, over 1,000 people lived here. There were multiple mills processing or dozens of buildings, homes, saloons, stores. By the 1880s, Taibo had produced over $6 million in silver. That's nearly $200 million in today's money. These beehive-shaped structures are charcoal kilns. They produced fuel for the silver smelters. Over 30 feet tall. Built from hand-cut stone. They still stand because no one can reach them to damage them. The military fenced off this entire area in the 1940s when they established the Nevada Test Site. Tens of thousands of acres became completely restricted. The military fenced off this entire area in the 1940s when they established the Nevada Test Site. Tens of thousands of acres became completely restricted. Only a handful of historians and archaeologists with special permits have gained access to Taibo in the last 80 years. And what they've found is remarkable. The town is almost perfectly preserved. Intact bottles sit on shelves. Tools lie where they were last used over a century ago. Buildings stand with roofs mostly intact. Mining equipment rusts in place. It's like the entire community just stopped. Frozen in the 1880s and sealed away from the modern world. Archaeologists who've studied the site say it's one of the most intact mining towns they've ever seen, because it's been protected, accidentally, by military restrictions. There's something deeply eerie about a place humans created but can no longer reach. A town that exists in enforced isolation. Preserved not by intent but by consequence. Maybe that's the only way some places survive. Not through museums or national parks, but through being completely off limits. Could you theoretically apply for a permit? Yes. Will you get one? Almost certainly not. The military doesn't grant access except for specific research purposes. So for most of us, Taibo remains a mystery. A place we can read about but never see. Number 3, Belmont. This crumbling courthouse in the middle of nowhere once governed an entire county. But it almost governed a state. From 1867 to 1905, Belmont was the Nye County seat. Important decisions were made here. Land disputes were settled. Criminals were tried and sentenced. Mining claims were registered. The courthouse is beautiful. 2 stories of brick and local stone. Wrought iron jail cells on the ground floor. Courtroom on the 2nd floor with high ceilings and tall windows. You can still see the judge's bench. The jury box. The railing where defendants stood. Imagine the arguments that echoed in this room. The verdicts delivered. The lives changed forever by decisions made in this isolated desert outpost. But here's the part that blows my mind. Belmont almost became Nevada's state capital. In the 1860s, Nevada was brand new as a state. They needed to choose a permanent capital. There was serious debate. Carson City was proposed. So was Belmont. Belmont was thriving at the time. Silver mines were producing millions. The population was growing. It was more centrally located than Carson City. The vote came down to just a handful of ballots. And Belmont lost. Imagine that alternate timeline. What if this remote desert town had become the political center of Nevada? What if legislators had to make the difficult journey here every year? What if the governor's mansion stood among these ruins? History turns on tiny moments. A few votes. A few voices. and everything changes. The rest of Belmont tells its own story. Victorian-era buildings lean at impossible angles, defying gravity and time. Some are surprisingly intact. Others are just frameworks of wood and stone. There's the old Cosmopolitan Saloon, the Monitor Belmont Mill. Dozens of homes and shops slowly being reclaimed by sagebrush and weather. And if you talk to locals, yes, there are still a few people who live nearby. Many of them will tell you the courthouse is haunted. Footsteps in empty rooms. Shadows moving across walls when no one's there. The sound of voices in the courtroom when the building is locked and empty. Could be the wind. Could be the building settling. Could be imagination. Or could be something else. The courthouse is occasionally open for tours. And if you need a drink after exploring ruins all day, the Belmont Saloon still operates on weekends. It's one of the oldest continually operating bars in Nevada. And yes, you can actually get a beer in a ghost town. Belmont is a monument to what almost was. To parallel histories that never happened. To the strange contingency of fate. Number 2, Unionville. Mark Twain lived here. And he absolutely hated every second of it. In 1861, a young man named Samuel Clemens, not yet Mark Twain, arrived in Nevada Territory with his brother Orion, who'd been appointed Secretary of Nevada Territory. Sam had no job, no plan, just vague dreams of striking it rich in the silver mines everyone was talking about. He heard about Unionville. Silver had been discovered in the nearby Buena Vista district. Fortunes were being made overnight. So in December 1861, he and a few partners traveled to Unionville, filed mining claims, built a tiny cabin, and started digging. For 2 weeks, Samuel Clemens swung a pickaxe in the freezing Nevada winter, breaking rock, searching for silver that wasn't there. He found absolutely nothing. He later wrote in his book Roughing It, "I confess without shame that I expected to find masses of silver lying all about the ground." He left Unionville bitter, broke, disillusioned with mining and with himself. But those experiences? They shaped everything that came after. The humor, the cynicism, the sharp observations about American ambition and delusion. The writer who would become Mark Twain was forged partly in this canyon, in failure and cold and disappointed dreams. Unionville sits in a canyon where Buena Vista Creek provides rare desert green. Stone buildings from the 1860s still stand. Cottonwood trees line the water. It's beautiful in a melancholy way. And here's the thing. A few people still live here. Maybe 2 to 5 year-round residents. Maintaining buildings. Keeping the place alive. The old pioneer garden country and sometimes hosts guests. Imagine staying overnight in a place Mark Twain once cursed. If you visit, respect private property. This isn't a park, people actually live here. Even failures can be beautiful. Even disappointments can inspire something greater. Mark Twain failed here. And that failure helped create one of America's greatest writers. Number 1, Gold Point. One man bought an entire ghost town and turned it into something no one expected. His name was Herb Robbins. And starting in the 1970s, he began purchasing buildings in Gold Point, slowly, piece by piece, until he owned almost the entire town. But he didn't turn it into a tourist trap. He didn't sanitize it or rebuild it into some fake Western theme park. He preserved it, authentically. You can explore mine shafts, walk through the old saloon with century-old bottles still lining the shelves. See artifacts exactly where they were left. Bottles, tools, personal belongings. Original gas station still stands with vintage pumps. Buildings lean and weather, but they're maintained just enough to survive. Herb Robbins passed away in 2020, but before he died, he made sure Gold Point would continue. New owners have taken over his vision. The Ghost Town Bar opens on weekends. And here's the best part. You can actually stay overnight. Historic cabins are available for rent. You'll fall asleep to absolute silence. Wake up to sunrise over the desert. No Wi-Fi. No distractions. Just you and history. Bring cash, the nearest ATM is over 70 miles away. And respect the artifacts. Look, photograph, but don't take. These objects have survived over a century. Let's keep it that way. Gold Point isn't just a ghost town. It's proof that one person's passion can save history. That forgotten places deserve protection. That there's value in preserving authenticity. These villages aren't just abandoned buildings in the desert. They're testaments to human ambition, to hope, to failure, to resilience. They're places where people dreamed of wealth, where communities clung to survival, where the cost of progress was measured in lives, and where some refused to die. Nevada has more ghost towns per capita than any other state. hundreds of them, scattered across mountains and valleys and endless sagebrush plains. These places exist in a strange liminal space, not quite alive, not fully dead, suspended between past and present, between memory and forgetting. And maybe that's exactly where they should be. So here's what I want to know. If you could bring one of these ghost towns back to life, which would you choose? The one that almost became Nevada's capital? The artist colony that refused to die? Or would you leave them exactly as they are, silent monuments in the desert? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've actually visited any of these places, tell us your story. And if you want more hidden places no one talks about, you know what to do.